So here we are. This is my Captain in Terminator armor. I really like this model and I really want to paint it. As you can see, I changed the head. This is the alternative head for the Sergeant in the Terminator squad. It's kinda sad that this model didn't came with like a helmeted option, but it's okay. This will force me to paint a human head that it's going to be fun. So of course, first step I will prime it with Chaos Black as usual, because of course it's going to be a Black Templar. So as usual, I will prime it with Chaos Black from Citadel. And let's start with painting this amazing miniature. Miniature prime with Chaos Black, and here I'm going to have my first challenge, of course, because let's say that a very intelligent person will have painted the cape part before assembling everything together, but I really wanted to assemble it together and see how it looked. And now we will have the challenge of painting the inside of the cape, let's say. And as I like to do, I try to paint the most hidden parts first and then go the ones more in the surface. So of course I will need to start with this cape, and for that, first of all, I'm going to add some downstone to it, because of course, because of consistency, I want the inside of the cape to be some whitish and this part red. So I will apply some gray, and then I will proceed with the whitish color. So let's proceed with it. And it's quite subtle, but as now I applied some light gray to the inside parts of the cape, now it will be the moment for me to add some Wraithbone, and that will make it much noticeable. So let's proceed with that. It was a pain because I had to apply several layers of Wraithbone to get this smooth whitish color for the inside of the cape. But for me it was really important to get this whitish color in the inside, because I mean, this is going to be a Black Templar, so the power armor is going to be black, and that's why I kind of wanted to have like a color to contrast with the black, so when you look at the model from the front you can clearly see all the shapes. It's not that it's too dark, and no, I wanted to have it this way. It's just my point of view and my way of doing things. I have done this with all my Black Templars and I'm quite happy with it right now, so I will continue doing it. I just like how it looks. And of course I forget to mention that after spraying the miniature with Chaos Black, I apply a thin layer of Abaddon Black to do exactly what I did right now, that it was fixing the mistakes of painting over the black power armor. And that being said, we can continue with the model right now. The next step for my Captain in Terminator armor is going to be to add lead pelcher to every part of the power armor that I want to have this metallic vibe. Of course I'm going to do it in this in between parts of the power armor, and I will of course also apply it to this kind of tubes, this part, and of course the weapons. I'm going to start painting this one, but I will leave the sword for the end. I will do the sword at the end. So, well, maybe I will also do the helmet, because the first one, the first Terminator that I painted, that I did it in the channel, of course, you can look for the video. I painted this part of the helmet in this lead pelcher as well. So maybe because of consistency I should also do the same with this one. And of course the symbol in the chest, I like to have them in lead pelcher as well. So let's continue with this model. Let's continue. It's going to be fun. I changed my mind during painting because at first in my head I had the idea of painting the belt, these extra things in the shoulder pads and also this upper part, everything with gold. Because of course it's a captain in Terminator armor, it needs to have gold details. But then I realized that I actually want gold details to be exactly like that, details. So that's why I decided to add more lead belcher to this skull and these things, and I will just apply gold to the outside here. I will also apply gold to these small crowns on the skulls, even same with this one small here. And of course the sword, I really wanted to be gold because I want the sword to look very fancy. And that's why I decided to paint these kind of things with lead belcher as well. And now I will proceed with this symbol here and also in the knee pad. And for that I'm going to use first Asian Grey, and then I will apply Dawnstone, and then finally some highlights with Wraithbone. And in the meantime, of course, I'm going to use also a little bit of Asian Grey to add to these purity seals, and also to this whole shoulder pad, because this one is going to be white, so I will apply all the greys and then I will leave it with Wraithbone, because I consider that it's going to be nicer like this. I tried this with the previous Terminator that I painted, and I think it's going to look nice, and because of course I want this shoulder pad to be like a proper Black Templar with the white and the black cross. So let's proceed with that. Let's do it because it's going to be very fun. And of course, before I forgot to mention that the miniature has this rocky base, but for the base I basically did exactly the same that I did with the symbols. First of all, I applied edge in grey, then I applied some downstone, and then finally some highlights with Wraithbone. So basically I did the same but in a different scale. So there's not much to mention about that, quite a simple grey. I painted the symbol in the shoulder pad, the symbol in the knee pad, and of course I painted this shoulder pad with the Wraithbone. And also the purity seals. And I can see that I already forgot one here, so I will paint it now. The main issue with the shoulder pad is that, of course, we are painting white over black. So we're going to need a few thin layers. I mean, as many thin layers as necessary until we get this smooth, uniform color that it's covering nicely the whole shoulder pad. Because right now I have like a good surface to paint the Black Templar's cross. And now, before I continue with the captain, I'm going to paint the Screamer Killer in the base. I don't want to spend too much time explaining what I'm going to do with the Screamer Killer, because this is more about the captain, not much the base. So, I mean, I don't want also to spend too much time with the Screamer Killer, because of course I have Screamer Killer and I would like to paint it soon in the channel. So this is a good moment to say that you should maybe subscribe to see when I paint this miniature, if I have to call it miniature, because it's not that mini. But anyway, I'm going to use exactly the same color scheme that I have been using until now for my Tyranids. So I already have videos in the channel painting Tyranids, so basically I'm going to do the same, but I don't want to spend too much time. So I will paint the Screamer Killer and then we will continue with the captain. Okay, so I painted the base of the miniature, and I think that the Screamer Killer looks fantastic even when it's being defeated by the captain. I think that this is actually like the third Tyranid that I have ever painted in my whole life, so it was a nice experience. I approve it. I like how it looks like. And now I think it's the time to give some color to the captain, so now I will use corn red, and I will apply it to the weapons, like the combi bolter and of course the handle of the sword. But I'm also going to use it in the here, and I don't know if painting this one red or gold. I will wait a little bit, but for sure I will apply also corn red to the cape for now. And of course I have purity seals. I painted the two in the legs, but here there's another one. They keep appearing and I keep forgetting about them, so I will paint this one first and then I will apply with the corn red. After applying two thin layers of corn red, we have this kind of uniform color. It's kind of uniform because there are like some inner parts that I didn't give it like a second layer or didn't push it too much. And as you can see now, it has this kind of uniform color, so I want to enhance these inner parts and all the places that the cape is like folded. So for that I will apply some Abaddon Black mixed with water, so it will be very watery because I want to fill into the gaps. But of course the Abaddon Black is going to make everything a little bit darker. So after applying that I will proceed to highlight the parts that I want to be highlighted. Maybe at some point it will look a little bit messy, but hopefully in the end it's going to look nice. So let's go for it because it's going to be fun. And this is the result. As you can see, by applying some Abaddon Black mixed with water, I enhanced the folded parts of the cape. I have this nice shadow, and I managed to get a darker red. That is my whole point. I want the red to be darker. There are some parts that maybe the black color won't catch. Like for example, here in the inside it should be black, but the color didn't stay there. So it's okay, I will just apply a little bit of Abaddon Black with the brush directly. It shouldn't be an issue. And as you can see, by doing this I get these areas like this one where you can see that it didn't cover everything because it was too watery. But it's okay, it doesn't matter to me, because now I'm going to apply some corn red again in the areas that I'm going to highlight, like for example this one. So for me it's not an issue that here I don't have, like for example here as well. So right now I will apply some black directly to this folded part, and I will apply some corn red to the areas that I'm going to enhance. I will mix with a little bit of water because I want it to be like a translucent thin layer, so I will have a nice transition. And my whole point with this, by doing the cape, is that for me this is quite a simple and effective way to manage and get a nice result. I like how it looks after this. So let's continue with it, because it's starting to look quite nice, my captain. And with this it will be done for now. Of course I still need to add highlights later, but for now it's quite nice. It's a acceptable transition between the colors, and it's, as I said, it's quite simple but effective. I mean, it's not perfect, but it's quite acceptable in my opinion. I like the result. It looks nice in my opinion. And of course I used this opportunity that I was using corn red to also do this here and this here. I was doubting between gold and red, but in the end I decided to go for red as well. And now it's the moment that I will use to paint the gold details. We have quite a few actually. The crown here, the crown here, and these small crowns. So it's going to be nice. I will also paint the sword and the letters inside of the sword. That's going to be the most tricky part, but hopefully it will look nice. So let's go for it. And once it dries, it looks like this. I mean, you can clearly see that it's a little bit messy, but what matters for me is that the inside is gold. And before I continue with everything else, because I want to leave this part clean, I will do the highlights of the gold areas, at least in the sword. Maybe everywhere, who knows. And for gold I use Balthazar gold, and to highlight it I use Retributor armor, because this is quite shiny and I like a lot how it looks after applying a little bit of that. So that's what I will do right now. I also did the inside, but of course I have to use weird positions for this one, and it's not that nice to see on camera. And I will use this one right now for the highlight before anything else, because I'm going to do something that I'm not used to do, and it's like the face of a miniature. I don't really have, yes, I'm not used to painting like human faces. I let's say that the only miniatures that I have that you can see the face is the neophytes of the Crusader squad, and that's not enough practice. They look a little bit weird. So for this, I'm going to do the following. Please let me know if you know some better way of painting faces. I have seen some tutorials on the internet, but I'm not good enough to deal with them. At some point I will need to paint a lot of human faces and see what happens. But I will apply some Wraithbone to the face, basically, because I want to have like a lighter color underneath. And then I will apply Kislev flesh, and then this is the only brownish shade that I have. I will use this one. Hopefully it won't look that bad in the end, and then I will do a little bit more of the highlights with the Kislev flesh again. I hope that it won't be too bad, because of course, even if there's a lot of things to look at this miniature, when you look at it, we are humans, we are trained to look at the faces of things. So we're going to look at the face, and if the face is too bad, then it's going to be a little bit sad and it will be disappointed. But I hope that it will be acceptable. That doesn't matter. That's what I'm aiming for. So let's try to do it, and hopefully it won't be too bad. I think that the result is quite acceptable. It's not that bad looking, it could be much better. And of course I'm not going to even try with the eyes, because that's too advanced for me still. But I really like how it's looking right now. I have to say that it looks much better in person than in the camera, because of course in the camera it's closer and in much more detail. And in person, it's, let's say that the things that could be better, they are not that noticeable, so it's quite nice. And now of course I will add some Stormhost silver. I can also use Leadbecher for this. Like I always forget the name of the things that they have here in the head. I always forget the name in English, sorry. But I will use that one because that color is much more noticeable than the Leadbecher, and I want that to be noticeable and visible, so I will proceed to apply that. And after that it will be a perfect moment to start with the edge highlighting, so I will paint that. And And now that I'm quite happy with the face of the miniature, it's the perfect moment to start with the edge highlighting of the power armor. This is going to be a very important step, because of course we have painted a lot of details around the power armor, but of course it's not highlighted yet by itself. And for that I will do what I usually do with my Black Templars. I will use Dark Reaper I will apply Dark Reaper to every single edge of the power armor. I mean all of them, no matter what. I will apply this one because it looks much better, in my opinion at least. That's my opinion. I think that it looks much better when it's highlighted with the Dark Reaper, because it has like more volume in my opinion, and it looks nicer, less plain. And after that I will apply Fenrisian Grey to the parts that I consider that should be highlighted the most. Sometimes I get carried away and I put a lot of Fenrisian Grey, more than I should, but I will try to behave in this video and do it nicely. So first, Dark Reaper to everything. Second, Fenrisian Grey to the most important parts, or the ones that should be highlighted the most. So let's do it, it's going to be fun, and after this it should look even nicer. And as I mentioned, Dark Reaper over everything, and only in the parts that I consider that should be more highlighted, Fenrisian Grey. Now the black power armor is highlighted, and I think that it's time for doing one of the most difficult parts, and that's going to be, of course, this is a Black Templar, so I should make a cross here. And I will take my time to do that, so let's hope that I will manage to do it on the first try, but usually it's the same. I will do 4 small triangles, then I will correct them with the white, and then I will add more black to make it definitely. So usually it's like these 3 steps, so I will proceed with that. Hopefully it will look nice and I won't need to repeat it too many times, so let's hope that it will be nice. And here we have. Now it's a matter of some final highlights. I will use for that Evil Sun's Scarlet, and I will use this one for every red detail of the miniature. I will use this color for the highlights of the weapon, even the color of the shield, the red here as well, and of course the cape, that it's not finished. Let's not forget about that. And of course the beauty seals. So I will use this red for almost every highlight of the red here, because this is like a very noticeable red, and it will contrast a lot with the corn red, so it's quite a dark one. So after this one it should look quite nice and interesting. So let's do it. Perfect. With red highlights done, now I will use Runelord Brass for the bullets here inside, and Stormhost Silver for the highlights of the lead belcher, because of course this one is more like silver basically, as the name says, and it's more lightful, so it will be like a nice contrast. And now I will use Agrax Earthshade for all the gold details, and of course as well for the purity seals, so they will look nicer. And let's go for that, because after applying Agrax Earthshade to the gold elements, they look fantastic. So let's go and do it. For the sword, I'm going to try to use Drakenhof Nightshade. Maybe I will cover the gold letters, maybe not, but I want to see how it looks, because of course it's like a power sword, and if I cover the letters with this one, maybe it won't be that bad, because I can like apply some blue and it will look nice. I will see. Let's see how it looks. And of course, for the rest of the metallic areas, Nuln Oil, because it looks the best and it looks great, and we all love this shade. So let's proceed with that. It's funny, but I was letting the shades dry and I realized that, of course, I was forgetting about this kind of thing here. I don't know what it is. It's kind of jewel or something. I don't know. It's something decorative. There's another one here, so I will use some red probably to do it. And now, of course, I will finish the base, and for that I will apply some this technical astrogranite debris because of consistency. This is the one that I have been using for my Templars, so this is the one that I should use for the Captain. Luckily there's not much to add, only a little bit here and a little bit in the back, so it should be quick and should dry quite easily. So I will paint this with some red and I will apply this and I will let it dry. And to almost finish this miniature now, I will apply some blue to the sword because I want to make it like this kind of power sword, of course. I mean, of course this is a power sword, but I want to make it more like he's about to use it or he already used it. So for that I will apply some Thousand Suns blue, and hopefully it shouldn't look too bad. I'm not very skilled with the power swords, but hopefully it should look nice. Let's proceed with it. And with some blue applied to the power sword, I will consider my Captain in Terminator armor to be finished for now. Of course, maybe someday in the future I will look at it and say, oh, maybe I should correct this place, that it should be nicer than I didn't notice before. But for now I consider it done, and I cannot wait to play with this miniature. It looks fantastic, I really like it. I have to admit that it took me much more time than I expected, but of course this is like this is a miniature full of detail, full of a lot of things. You can clearly see how beautiful and charged in accessories and detail it is. It's fantastic. I'm quite happy. I'm especially happy with the head because, as I said, I'm not used to painting human heads. Most of my miniatures are helmeted, so it was such a nice experience. So this is it for now, and of course I will continue painting the miniatures in the Leviathan box, so please consider giving me a like and subscribing. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.